Hello everybody, I'm Roberto Coscia, QA engineer with 6+ years of experience. In today's video, I'm going to discuss about if companies are trying to use AI. Basically, if companies are using AI to make the job done faster, is this something that is making the work-life balance of employees better or worse? After analyzing the AI space and the development that has been happening in the past 2 years in the most of the case, I feel like that in the beginning, the AI was and is making the job much faster and making all team more performant by, I would say, from 20 to 50%. However, I'm noticing a trend that is happening in the latest time that in counter tendency, it feels that it making the job of people, or it will make the job of people less prone to work-life balance. Why I'm saying this? If from one side of the coin, making job faster means also performing less actions to make the job done, from another perspective, if company are become aware that job can be done faster, probably this means that they will require much more tasks to be done by the same employees, especially when it is not known what can be done by the AI in terms of how many tasks can be completed. It could, at least I see the pattern that company might think much more tasks could be done than actually reality is. What danger this brings? That there could be more unachievable result, let's perfect it to say that more unachievable objectives requested from the management and more tasks to be required by employees, which not necessarily are achievable because first of all there will be some employees that never used AI before, which they will try to catch up on making more an understanding of what AI is and how to use it in the best way possible to perform more tasks. From the second side of the coin, once you know how to work well with AI and the team become aware of what can be done with AI, considering that this is a progressive process, so AI is gonna be just more productive over time, it might make optimist behavior appearing in the management, which will believe and will be confident that AI can get done much more than probably is realistic for some of the employees. We need to understand one, how performant people are with using AI, how people are aware of how to use the best way. If one person can achieve 10 with AI, the second employee might achieve 5 because not necessarily they might know how to use it 10x like the second employee. This means that a goal which seems totally achievable by employee or management A might become soon an overwhelming task for employee B, which is trying to use the AI the best way possible to achieve those goals. This sounds to me like it's becoming, and it we will have two phases. The first phase where employee will eventually have a bit more work-life balance until management become aware of how to use those tools. So some people will be able to get much more done in less time, which will leave as a consequence a better work-life balance at the beginning. In a second moment, when this will not be a taboo and it will be much more understood by companies how to perform better with AI, there will be potentially the opposite happening. We could have future getting more likely burnt out by the amount of task required by them because AI could achieve much faster those results. There could be a bigger gap between different employees in the companies where employee A can perform 100x, where employee B can employ 10x, and employee C can employ 1x because of different understanding of how to use AI in their workflow. Is this correct? Is this something that should be said so that people are more aware of first how to behave in advance to prevent this to happen? So to try to learn better how to use those tools in your specific sector? Or should we be aware of this to try to make the workplace a better place in terms of work life balance, trying to be more productive in the first place, but also not to try to be overproductive at the consequence of burning out employees, which will try to run toward a specific goal which maybe is too hard. It becomes too hard because we are not imagining correctly what this tool can achieve. We are imagining results that not necessarily are realistic. Also, because AI is becoming more performant, where imaging will become more performant, it will maybe not at the pace we imagine. So, if we have an optimistic way of thinking, so we are getting confident on the thought that employees will be able to achieve much more in terms of task, 50%, 70%, 90%, or 500% more. Where this goes? Where is the limit? Is the limit burnout? Is the limit realistic? Maybe yes, maybe no. How can we take and track how this is achievable? How can we set goals in the future, knowing that performance is changing fast? I've been thinking a lot about this, and I wanted to keep the awareness on the workplace in general, for future workplaces, of the fact that it is this is a transition that need to be done so immediately in terms of learning these AI tools and how to perform better and being more competitive, but also it is important to understand how to keep work-life balance in place also in future and not risk employees to get to burnout. Even though some of the management people might think that doesn't exist such thing like burnout, there is a limit on how much you can strain people to get tasks to be completed. I'm the first person that believe in performance and try to talk about AI so that teams can become more performant. But at the same time, there is another side of the medal that could actually achieve not what we would wish from all employees, which is burning them out and being a little bit hopeless in that perspective. Because once you burn out, what could you do next so that you try not to be burned out and you can cope better? Maybe there are different tools you can use, like time management, good communication, but there are limits in which, when you try to be as performant as you can, you will reach the roof and you will hit it. How are companies and management tackling this concept of bridging the gap between who doesn't know how to use AI at all, who is very performant already and knows how to 10x their workflow? Is there a danger for who doesn't know how to use AI? There are a lot of people saying that it's not AI that will remove your job, but will be people that use AI that will be able to take job which otherwise you will not take it in future. I feel that less job will be required in general, especially at the beginning, and which means that the competition will be higher, so there will be less jobs, where people that are chosen will be required to be younger, knowledgeable, very competent, and also very competent on using AI, which in the first place means that it's very hard to get into the market, or will be too hard to get to the market. And second, between the people that will get those jobs, how hard will be life on trying to meet company expectations? In my personal career and job, I've been trying to use AI to become more and more performant. And that was something fantastic because allowed me to, in my specific role of QA engineer, principal QA engineer, made me perform so much more, create so much more automated tests, to perform strategy in testing so much faster than before. Even in terms of in how much faster I could make documentation, test, etc. Once this become the normality, where this performance is the baseline, the new baseline, which always is to be changed over time as the AI tools advances. What will be the expectation on me in future, considering that is always something that need to be traded to become more better and better. So if I achieve baseline, which is very high right now, what will be the desire of a company in future will be that I achieve, if I go to this baseline, will be expected from me or for new people, higher and higher performance as a baseline. What this means in terms of work-life balance for people that are trying to get into IT sector or any sector, to be honest, because AI will is involving already all sectors. How can I become even more performant than I currently am, knowing the best tools out there possible that allow me to do the job done faster? And how this will affect my work-life balance, knowing that performance is always traded on the excess. This is starting to worry me a little bit, considering the future, and because I'm trying to think about the future in advance to become more prepared before, I wouldn't say everybody else, but to be on top performance, a top performer. Because in a survival mechanism where less jobs uh, are the trends and best performer are an advantage, I'm trying to be always the top performer in society. I'm first of all worried about the not top performers. Second of all, I'm worried of who is not using the AI is slashing out against AI. And I'm not blaming them, because why should we blame someone that didn't have just the opportunity to use it right now, make the best out of it, and just because they are also worried about it? There are people resistant about introduction of AI in the workflow, and that's not a bad thing. It is okay. Why should we rush and give people anxiety about using something they never used before and suddenly trying to make them perform 20, 100x where they are at the moment? This is a transition that should be done over time. I agree that should be started today, but it should be gradual, cannot be something that suddenly might be expected from people to perform 1000x. Because let's be honest, it's true that AI is continuing to become more performant. It's becoming better and better. It's allow always to do more and more. And there are people that are not using it, which in future means that it will be expected right away to perform 1000, 10,000x, which will be super overwhelming for certain people and will make them out of the market when, at least at the beginning, when we see that jobs are reducing, the market is being affected. We know that probably in future the market will recover, but this means also that more jobs that require AI will be required, but also people will be required to have AI knowledge to get those jobs. It is overwhelming. It is a cycle that worries me. I think it's important to make people aware about it, especially because I have a new channel about talking AI news. So I should first warn people on using AI more in the workplace so that they become good at it and irreplaceable. I feel responsible of telling people about that in case they work for a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 job. I don't know. I'm in Italy. We work 9 to 6. Incredible, right? Especially for an American that my imagine Italian to work less hour than American. No, I can tell you that we work 1 hour, half an hour, 1 hour more than American as a baseline they do. Does mean that we are more performant than American? It depends. I don't think that we is very different if you work in the public or a private sector. But in the private sector, we work 9 to 6 as a baseline. Then that means that not everybody might finish at 6. There are people that finish at 6:30, 6 at 7, 8. Depends how you are workaholic. This doesn't happen also in United States or in any other country, but it also happen in Italy. So the 9 to 5 meet here for us and 9 to 6. We work 9 to 6 as a baseline in the private sector. There are countries such as China, Japan, where we know that people work as a baseline 9 to 6, which means from 9 in the morning to 9 in the evening for 6 days a week. When this is a baseline, when there is a race to get to the most performant workplaces in countries, and where we have tools like AI making teams more performant, where is the limit? When is the limit? My response is burnout. What will burnout lead to is to crashing down. How can we avoid to crash down? Is to take care of the concept of work life balance. It's not a myth. It is important. It is fundamental. If you don't think about work-life balance because you might believe that it is not important because we can do more, we can work harder, stronger, longer, then we're getting to a false result, which is getting more performance result, but we're getting to another concept where people in the end we're not limitless. We can work hard. We can be hard working oriented. We can be in a culture where we try to be hard things that are harder, that are better. We can get the concept of the 8-20 rules. So we try to do 80% of stuff done with the 20 only required work to get 80% done. But there is a limit on this. I'm not trying to scare you guys, but this is where reality, most of the realities are, I see getting into. And what about people working in those reality? How to make a healthy environment that just avoid to get to burnout? And why do we need to get to the ceiling to then try to reach back a better flow, better state that allow us to perform the best and be remain sane. What about demographics and try to make families? How can we get families if we only think about work? How can we sustain families? How can we make families function as a family if our company want us to work more, perform more, and also being attentive to the family and keep them? Family breakdown. Attention is required also to family because family and divorces are here. And if you just think about work, if you just try to meet company expectation, you might meet company expectation and you will break your family. Is what you want? Go for it. Go ahead. What if we want to keep both family, work-life balance? try to have a happy life, have children, and keep that all. Does company care about it? No. Maybe some company care a bit more. Some company may care less. It's only you that you are responsible to care about yourself. So where are we going toward? And this lead to a second thought that I want to leave you before ending this video that could be staying here forever is, should you lean toward the company expectations? Should you work for a company, first of all? Or should you work for yourself, where you might want and try to set your own rules? Should you try to get to a more work-life balance state for yourself? Or should you try to resist to company expectation to the highest level, to the highest performance that AI, yes, give you this possibility, and sacrifice family, and sacrifice your health, and sacrifice work-life balance, and sacrifice demographic? How can you a state expect people to make more children to keep the number of population if we're always working? If you don't have free time, or even worse, for younger people than me, I'm 35, some of you are 20, some of you are 18, some of you are 25, some of you are in an age that they want to find a new partner. How can you are in excess trying to work harder and harder, you find a woman going out, unless you're in an office and only you focus on finding a colleague, maybe as a future wife, which I don't advise to the most of the people. Anyway, finding a partner is an investment on time, on human values to share outside work, not inside work. I hope with this video to have shared you some values and some thought and worries I share about the AI world, and hope to raise awareness about it, to and make aware the world of workplaces, to in a wake-up call to get an understanding that work-life balance is something important, very important, even fundamental to keep in mind for government, for workplaces to achieve the best performance for their company, not breaking down employees, which, by the way, a certain level and limit, they will break down, of course. But if we think in advance on making workplaces better in with good work-life balance in the first place, we can achieve results, fantastic results, keeping a great work-life balance, keeping people having investing time after work, which is very important. Stop it with the concept of family at work. Doesn't exist family at work. Family is a home. Family is yourself, your partner, your mom, dad, cousins, friends. This is family. This is a real family. Work is a facilitator. It is an environment which is encouraging to you to be performant, but also without breaking down, keeping you happy, because if you're happy, you working better, more performant, you are not getting out of your head, and also you can keep yourself off finding a partner, getting a family, having children, sustaining yourself, being mentally okay all the time. And if you're mentally sane, you can perform well, you're happy to perform your job, and AI will not break you down if you use it properly, if company think of their employees and their work life balance. I really hope this video helped you. If it did, why not consider to subscribe this channel? I hope to provide you more value than this if you subscribe this channel, if you like this video. If you're in the same state as or of worry that I am about AI and the world that come with it, why not consider to comment this video? I will respond all your comment. I promise also, if you ask so, to provide more of this type of videos in future. That's it from today. I really tried. I really means a lot this video for me. I and let's. I'll see you in the next video.